Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your old pal, Justin Robert Young, joining you here on the Morning Drive Time show. My voice is really low because when I was in Ohio, my nephew coughed into my mouth. And as I am an expectant father, I guess this will be the first of many, many, many times that a child will get me sick. Thankfully, it was not terrible. It was not bad. I barely had a fever. In fact, I don't think I ever really had a fever. But there's this thing that's happening. I don't know whether it's age or just the climate here in Austin, but I don't really get a lot of like drainage out of my face. I am getting a lot of gunk just kind of like in my, what I assume is my esophagus. And so that was the spot this morning as I was up and just hacking up a bunch of gooey garbage from my throat. Anyway, wouldn't stop us from being here today. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about, including a brand new jobs report. Much like the growth of the economy, less than expected. Still a good unemployment number for Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, but not as many jobs added as expected. Yipes stripes. This is the Bengals. Do, 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 do. Yeah, morning zoo voice. We've got it in spades. Kendrick Lamar has released a second diss track. It's pretty amazing. Traffic and weather together on the vibe. Now, I was listening to 616 in LA. The new diss track by Kendrick Lamar. Have you heard it? Well, Drake got back-to-backed. Wow. Euphoria and 616 in LA within 72 hours. I mean, geez Louise. I haven't seen a beef go back and forth like this since Jay-Z and Nas. This is Sting with I'll Be Watching You. 105.9 The Cat. How does gig work affect these job numbers? Like there could be millions of underemployed people with no options that are doing Uber Eats and basically are unemployed. Yeah, that's the criticism. The criticism is that they are factoring in gig workers as employed. Look, here's all I know. All politics are local. My wife lost her job at the beginning of this year and has yet to get a new job. And so the economy's terrible for us. It ain't great, Bob. It ain't great. I am not using a voice changer. I have a lot of gunk in my system right now. So it makes it easier for me to do this voice. Go ahead, give me your topics that you'd like to hear me talk in the Morning Zoo radio DJ voice, because I don't know how long we have it, but we have it right now, friends. Why isn't my pregnant wife doing Uber Eats? Well, because with all due respect to one of the platforms that we are streaming on right now, twitch.tv/Justin R. Young, the Twitch Corporation and its parent company, Amazon, was very generous in their severance package, but we are not hurting right now. We are things are going okay right now. Thankfully, My wife's husband, me, little old me, makes a decent living talking random shit on the internet. So, what we are hoping is that very, very quickly she is able to rebound and get a position. But look, things are tough right now in the tech sector. Things are very tough. Fallout was fine. It felt good. But when it started, it was like Force Awakens for Fallout. All right. So we're at episode 5 of Fallout now. I did not like the first 3 episodes. I felt like it was just a lot of fan service for shit that I had no context to, and all the characters felt samey. It kind of felt like, you know, The Boys is a fun show because the characters aren't particularly deep, but they are fun. You want to spend time with them. They are interesting. Fallout felt like the opposite of that. Like it not only did I really not care about them, but also they really weren't all that fun. And the fun part was seeing a bunch of monsters and battle armor that I assume people like from the games. I have no idea. Never played the games. But through episode 4 and episode 5, I began to click on some of the characters in the stories. I still don't give a rat's ass about the man in the suit that lost the suit. Spoiler alerts about the suit. Yeah, Walton Goggins is cool. I mean, look, I'm a huge Walton Goggins fan. Walton Goggins is an incredible actor who was able to shed a fantastic series of roles he had that had one very, very, very unfortunate common denominator. And I think he even addressed this. He played a lot of races because Walton Goggins, being a charismatic and loquacious man, can say the N-word like nobody's business. Best white N-word in the game. And he had a bunch of roles that were like that. And I think he very deliberately was like, all right, no more racist. I'm not playing racist anymore. And then Quentin Tarantino was like, so I got this movie about a slave. And he's like, fuck, one more job. He did Django Unchained, and then he was out. And since then, he has played a million. He's got a great range for his type, right? But you always know it's Walton Goggins. He's fantastic. My problem with the Ghoul is like, if somebody's a badass, introduce me to them as the peak of what I'm supposed to be afraid of. Like, he gets this kind of creature feature intro, which is like cool if you're a mysterious monster. But Walton Goggins is a monster that talks. He's Walton Goggins. So, I don't know. Yeah, they tried to play down Boyd's racism after the first season of Justified. He did the Hateful Eight, but I don't know whether or not, like, there are scenes in Django Unchained that are built around Walton Goggins saying the N-word. Because they need to set up how badass Jamie Foxx is. And so it's like Walton Goggins being Walton Goggins with his icy, you know, shit-eating, like, boy, you gonna dance in the moonlight with me tonight? You know? Like, that's, come on. Quentin Tarantino, one of the greatest white American writers for the N-word, being spoken
by one of the greatest white N-word sayers of all time, Walton Goggins in Django Unchained. For the record, like one of the greatest black N-word sayers ever, Sam Jackson. Quentin just puts the bullets in the gun and they keep shooting them, and we're the winners. It's like the Avengers of N-word sayers. Yeah. I mean, that's Quentin Tarantino's team. He's the Nick Fury. Quentin Tarantino is the Nick Fury of N-word sayers. God, that's a sentence that might kill Spike Lee. If you say that in front of Spike Lee, he might actually just fall over. The next time, who are is it the Pacers that are playing the Knicks in the next round? Whoever is playing the Knicks, when they run by Spike Lee, say, hey, Quentin Tarantino is the Nick Fury of N-word sayers. Oh, God. Might kill him. I don't want him to die, though. I love Spike Lee. Spike Lee's he is a great, great, great director. Oh, boy. You want to do calls? Let's do calls. We haven't done calls. And I'm legging it out. I'm legging it out for you guys. My voice sounds like shit. I'm hacking up just garbage out of this golden esophagus of mine. Sam Jackson is the Tony Stark. Yes, of course. The cornerstone. All right. Let's doodly-dee, Skype. Oh, by the way, new PX3 out today. Michael Richards is the Hulk. Jesus Christ. It's good. Andrew Main talking about his new article in Reason Magazine about how AI will bring about 0% unemployment. I think it's a fantastic article. I had I say in the episode that I had help in writing it. I did not have help in writing it. I helped edit it. That was a misstatement by me. But I tried my best to help shape it. And I'm not going to say who. But through the grapevine, somebody very, very, very well respected in the world of AI got back to Andrew yesterday and said that he agrees with it. And we were very, very happy about that. Where does the baby due date fall on the election timeline? In between, no, after the conventions, before the election. Okay. Five 10 404 80 30. There we go. Call me now. Call me now. Let me actually. Yeah, fuck it. Hello, Mr. Merrill Barr.
Justin, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on? What's on your mind?
Jurzone, first, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
Did you read this expose on The Rock that came out this week?
I did not read it, but I did see the headlines of it. The Rock, a bit of a diva on set, hours late, peeing in water bottles and having his PA take them somewhere else.
What's your take?
That somebody hates The Rock, that The Rock might be an overscheduled diva. But I don't, it doesn't seem all that out of context. I mean, out of place, because also if he's that late, then there's probably a fuck up like higher up the chain, right?
Well,
Like
no
that's
one's
that's
late
that's
back
a
in-
that's
well,
that's like a producer, agent, or manager kind of fuck up. Like if he's on set and drunk in his trailer and won't come out, that's actor diva behavior. If he's late by 8 hours, then that's something that is I don't know. That seems to be like something that is a higher up problem.
to me, when I'm looking at it, the one assumption I can make that maybe takes away, that doesn't just say, oh, he's just being an asshole. It could be, he runs what, 3 different businesses?
Yeah.
4 different
No,
businesses?
he's doing a lot of stuff.
So my assumption is that, like, and I do say there is some responsibility on his part for this. He's not doing a good enough job managing his schedule between those things. And it's just like, I'm going to do it all always at the same time.
I don't feel comfortable telling somebody that is as productive as The Rock that I know when he's best at managing his schedule.
Well, okay, sure. But when it's like, when you're costing Amazon an extra $50 million in its budget.
Well, but also, how accounting works.
Sure.
Like, is it really $50 million? Is it really $50 million?
I mean,
Come on, buddy. Is it really $50 million?
Hold on. The gem in the article that really gets across how bad it is, when one of the sources who was on one of the crews said, yeah, he was so late so often that off that one shoot, I qualified for union health insurance, which for crew members is very hard to get. It's very hard to get the IATSE health insurance.
So he should be thanking The Rock.
So, like, when you're
The piss in the bottle thing is that seems like a cheap shot.
So
like,
that's shitty behavior, but it's not untypical Hollywood behavior. There's a famous story. There's a famous one about Ryan Gosling will literally walk up to not Ryan Gosling. Who's the other fucking the Dick Clark replacement named Ryan, who was on American
Ryan
Idol?
Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest, thank you. Ryan Seacrest will literally walk up to Crafty, take a cupcake, put it in his mouth, chew, and then spit it out. And whenever he gets weird looks, we'll turn to someone and say, all the taste, none of the calories, and then walk away. Like, that's a famous story. Like,
it's weird. Look, it's a weird thing. And also it's like the funny thing about those two stories being the things that, are painting him as a bad guy is that they're kind of opposite stories, right? Like, one is about saving time on set. The other is about being late to set. Like, you don't pee in a bottle as a power play. There's a million different ways that you can power play everybody around you. You pee in a bottle because you don't want to have everybody reset the lighting and make sure that everything else has to get done. You pee in a bottle because you want to be ready to go or want to keep going, and sometimes you got to piss.
Well, the other funny part about that is his reps don't deny that he pees in bottles. What they deny is that he's never given it to a PA to dispose of. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I have not been on a major production movie set, but I have been on movie sets, and shit is like hard to set up. Like, it takes a long time to get shit set up. The vast majority of the time on a movie set is not people acting. It is actors waiting, killing time, fucking around, while everything else gets lit and set up and placed and everything gets going. Like when Brian and I were doing the Tijuana Jackson movie, like, I think we have 2 lines in the movie, and that was a 8-hour day. Like, it takes freaking forever. And if you know, if you've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, like The Rock is, clanging and banging, then yeah, and you're fucking, on diuretics and shit like that because you're a bodybuilder, sometimes you got to piss. And it's better for the crew that you piss somewhere very close to set while you're still in wardrobe than going somewhere else.
What's your take on The Rock's whole thing right now in general? Because he's entering a new phase of his career, for sure. And it's like it started when he bought the XFL, and it's been like this entrepreneur, but he's also coming back to wrestling, and his acting career is kind of up and down right now because he hasn't been as much of a hit generator as he was, and he's hoping that doing the A24 movie will revitalize that and put him on a different put him on a different plane. I mean, what's your take on his whole thing right now?
We don't have movie stars. Rock's a movie star. He's very valuable. He's extraordinarily valuable. He's a mogul, right? He installed his best friend in the WWE and slowly excised the founder so he could take control of it. Like,
okay, hold on. Let's not pretend that the founder didn't do that on his own. Like,
you think there weren't Vince McMahon stories before the one that we heard of?
I mean,
there are plenty. There are plenty, and the more that comes out about that story, the more it might not exactly be what we thought it was. Like, how old do you think that the woman that is now suing Vince McMahon is?
I could have sworn I remembered reading she was like in her 20s or 30s.
43 years old. She's a 43-year-old woman who had a fiance while all this was happening. The way I first read it, I thought she was an empty-headed 20-something that was, taking care of her parents.
Because it was that both her parents died during COVID and she was living alone at the penthouse, right? In the building?
Something like that. The Vince McMahon stuff, their counter is that, look, she was a 43-year-old woman. She was a lawyer. She knew what she was doing. She was in a consensual relationship. And then when it ended, she was so mad, she said she was going to sue. And she did. I don't know the truth. I have no idea. I would suspect that based on the level and tenor of the text messages that they were sending back and forth, I would imagine that he probably has text messages from her that are equally as vile because they very much seem to have a bit of a degradation kink. But again, this is about The Rock. The Rock is now on the board, and his best friend is running the company. So there we go.
I laughed when I saw there was one of the dirt sheets put out that apparently inside some of the other talent feel like The Rock only came back to revitalize his acting career, and I'm like, yeah, no shit. That and the $30 million he gets as a bonus for getting back in the ring, which is part of his contract.
Well, and he deserves it.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
People will pay top dollar to see him. He's the biggest active wrestling star. I mean, like the biggest star you can get to be in a wrestling ring. That can still go.
He took Taker's spot in terms of like the part-time guy who works once a year, who you will pay money to go see because Taker's
except we got used to Taker once, twice a year, right? No one has seen The Rock in the ring until WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it's like I find that all of this is happening at once for him, and it's like I do think there is something to what you said at the top. Someone hates The Rock. Like someone is very mad that they wanted to get that article out.
Yeah. Oh, I mean it's a hit piece for sure.
But it's also a hit piece supported by like, look, the word around town from the below the line folks that I know is that all of that's true. Like he does show up late. He does piss in bottles. He does kind of act. He's a big diva. Like So it's like, why now?
And
How's
what,
the song-
but what about that in any way is interesting based on the behavior of a star of that magnitude?
Sure.
Like,
I
come
mean,
on.
Yeah,
Come
it
on.
calls the question, why do stars end up like this to begin with? 100%.
I mean, because like you could probably say the same shit about Tom Cruise. The difference is with Tom Cruise is that he makes a charm offensive before, during, and after everything, right? Tom Cruise probably shows up late. Tom Cruise probably pisses in bottles to save time.
Well, I'll say this: everything I've ever heard about the Tom Cruise stuff is that Tom actually is. It's more that Tom is so demanding of exactly what he wants. It's not that man lives and breathes fucking movies. Like the issue with Tom Cruise is that he knows exactly what he wants, and he'll say, "I want to go painted blue and purple in a plane that also can be invisible." And if you don't give him exactly that, it's like, well, we can make the goat red and green. That's all we got. No, I said blue and purple. I want blue and purple. Like that's the Tom Cruise element, right? It's like, no, I want this, and I'm having this.
Sure, I'm saying that gigantic movie stars are demanding and show up when they want.
Sure,
It's been the story of fucking Hollywood since the pre-talkies.
There was also that thing where everyone was pretty damn sure, and now based on this behavior, it probably is likely that when Rebecca Ferguson, the Mission Impossible lady, also in Dune, who came out and said that she had a co-star who was yelling, who she clapped back at basically, and everyone was trying to figure out who it was, and everyone assumed it was The Rock because they worked together in Hercules. It seems more likely that it's him. I'm like, this is all happening at the same
No, all right, you're deep into the lore now. I don't know.
I mean, this is my game, so I'm very fascinated by.
Sure, but that's dumb and irresponsible.
Okay,
It's both.
And he's fair enough, and he's and it's also like it's all happening at the same time. He's trying to get his image out further and further with all his brands. He also keeps pushing his brands, like the Ultimate Marketer, at the same time. Like it's all clashing at once. It's like this. It's almost like for some reason all of this is happening at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find it interesting. That's all. I don't know. Okay.
We found the limit of how interesting I find it.
All right, last question before I go. How's everything at home? How's that?
Good.
Everything-
I'm sick, but otherwise
All right.
things are good. All right, man. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Go ahead and give me a call. 510-404-8030. Again, 510-404-8030. We're taking calls, baby. Taking calls. All topics are open. All styles legal. Here on the program. Oh, man. Getting my hair cut again today. I gotta figure out what I want the haircut to be. Give us odds on different Trump VP options. I would say Elise Stefanik and Tim Scott are probably 1 and 2. Everybody else has no chance. Everybody else doesn't have a chance in hell. High and tight. Pompadour. Here's the problem with the slick back. It's, I don't know, maybe a slick back. Oh, libertarians were, we got some traction with the libertarian crowd because of shit we said on this stream. Hello, who's this?
Hey, this is Tintin on Discord. That's my name on Discord. Matt B at home on Twitch.
What's up, dog?
Hey, so I am like your wife. I've been unemployed. I'm in tech, and I knew in October was happening, and then but didn't officially happen until December 31st.
Yep.
and it is rough out here.
Rough, dude, right?
Yeah. So I've been doing everything. I've been doing the networking. I've been meeting in person with people. I've been sending out 30 resumes a day, doing all the customizing resumes, doing the interviews, getting to the last round, and people say, nope, pick someone else. So,
Ashley is
best of
currently
luck to you,
particularly
Mike.
very frustrated by being told she's overqualified. That is her least favorite thing to hear currently.
Yep. Well, I think part of the thing I'm running into is so I'm a UX designer, user experience designer,
Mm-hmm.
and I think people are hiring. I've heard anecdotally, and I've heard it repeatedly, that companies are hiring people who are overqualified because they're like, we can get this rock star who is the director of UX in this senior UX role, and we can pay them half the price. And I've actually talked to people who were making $200,000 a year. I literally was talking to someone like 2 weeks ago, and he said I had to take a contract job for $130,000 a year. You take a $70,000 pay cut. You're used to that $200,000 a year. All of a sudden, you take a $70,000 pay cut. That hurts.
Yeah, I mean that's a big question for us. Is exactly where on the hierarchy of needs is, her salary. But
yeah,
even then, it's like there is still just a reality of like, even if she wanted to come in really low on a salary, she can't have the job that she would want at a super low salary, because it all just fits in with all the rest of the pay scales.
Oh yeah. I don't know when this is going to turn around. I feel like I'm not a Trump fan, but I do feel like Biden's group who's in charge right now is hiding the.
So
the real numbers.
you think that this is Bidenomics, that you are unemployed because of Bidenomics?
Yes. One of the things I heard was, so this is from a leader in UX. He said that during the pandemic, they had established a tax credit for companies that they could basically kind of hire on speculative projects and use it as a tax credit. Pandemic ended. They took that tax credit away from companies, and now companies are like, well, we're just going to start shedding these jobs because there's too many people to pay.
Yeah.
So that is. I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I've heard it from someone who I trust.
But you are saying that was a Trump idea that Biden took away.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I mean, there is certainly a reality that is bad for Biden, that people have nostalgia for the Trump economy. People remember the Trump economy fondly, and it doesn't matter how much the eggheads say, but actually the economy's great. They're having a hard time convincing people about that.
Yeah. Well, I think Wall Street Journal had an article today that's saying basically all the people who are, there's a select group of people, like people in tech is one big group, Hollywood writers right now. There's just these pockets of groups of people who just can't find a job right now. And it's not like, Mexico, GM has closed down the factory in Michigan and moved all the jobs to Mexico. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. So there's just these weird pockets. The Boston Globe had an article about journalists can't find a job now. So it's just a weird thing. And, and not enough people, I don't know why it's not being brought up, but people in tech and can't find jobs right now. And it's just odd. And nobody's talking about it. I mean, it's on LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, you can, there's horror stories of people. I've been laid off for a year.
Yeah.
Can't find anything. And I had a tech job, paid $200,000 a year. And I've been networking like a ton. Like I have 5 network calls a day.
Yeah.
And I'm meeting people who are just experts in UX. I sit down at their feet and just be taking notes if I could. And they can't find a job. So if they can't find a job, how am I going to find a job? So yeah.
Rusty Jeep here in the chat says, can't disagree more. People in tech can find jobs. They just have to move.
Well, I'm in the Boston area, and Boston is tech.
Yeah.
We got MIT, we got Harvard, and I was talking to a state employee, a career center state employee. She's like, yeah, she was in the Cape. She said all the people who are in tech. There's a lot of people unemployed right now on the Cape. So,
I have heard.
Yeah.
All I will say is, New York, Boston, Silicon or like SF, right, the Bay Area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unemployment there. So if they're
Yeah.
not, if those areas are typically where you would move to get these jobs,
Yep.
it's
Mhm.
hard. It's still hard.
Yeah. Yep.
Detroit is hiring like crazy in tech.
Yeah, but who who wants to move to Detroit?
In tech?
I'm
Well,
sure
hey, we're not here to slander Detroit. It's it was April in the D, so a salute to Detroit. I'm not here to slander Detroit. Not typically known as a gigantic tech hotbed.
Yeah. I think Intuit is there. One of those companies is there because the property was cheap and they gave them all kinds of tax credit to put their headquarters there. So
Yeah. Well, I like
that's all I have.
Well, hey, look, the
wish
number
you-
one, cheers, brother. A commiseration station when it comes to the LinkedIn grind. I am I have a front row for it, and boy,
Yep.
it's hard trying to kind of nursemaid the same things and keep the sunny disposition because I don't want to sink into the depths when she's going
Yep.
through it. Because that's not going to help anybody. But sometimes I'm like, oh, god damn, that's nasty. Like, that's,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah.
It's just like she's pumping out, sometimes 5 or 6 resumes in a day. You get these jobs that are, like maybe you make the call screen and then they just don't hit you back. Like, it's nasty. I mean,
Yep.
at some point when she gets a job, we'll probably be able to tell the full story. But she cold reached out to a company in
Yep.
Boston, actually.
Okay.
It was one that was really cool. She would be really excited. They really liked her. She talked to all the founders. They flew her out to Boston to meet the team.
Oh.
And then the next day, hey, sorry, we thought about it. No. Like,
Yeah.
it's brutal. It is brutal
yep.
out there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've seen happen, so between January and March, when, that's kind of like the beginning of the year and people decide, oh, hey, we set our goals for our team. So we're going to hire a whole bunch of people. From January to March, I was getting either the HR screener calls or the last round of interviews. I was getting like 4 a week.
Yeah.
March hit and it has dropped. It is like cold out there.
You want to know what? That's
And
probably
then-
similar. That's similar to us. Yeah. That sounds about right. But there was a period where things were a little hot and then it got colder.
Yep. And then the other thing was in March, I was getting, an interview scheduled, and then they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, we just had to cancel the project, or we had to cancel the position. Sorry." Like, oh, so, yep.
It's rough out there.
And so my unemployment runs out at the end of June. I'm trying to see if I get extended. I'm going to try to sign up for training in Salesforce. I don't know Salesforce. I mean, I've been around Salesforce a lot. I just don't know how to do the technical things. And I don't even know if it's a good career move, other than I know people who are in Salesforce right now, and they seem to be busy. So that's what I'm going to do.
Well,
and bread and butter work, hopefully, and try to get the training through the state, and then they pay for it. They give me, I think, extra 23 weeks. It all gets approved, and the hoops I have to jump through to get approval. It's Massachusetts, so hoops upon hoops. Oh, you got to call this person. Oh, you got to send in this paperwork. Oh, you didn't complete this. You're too late on this document. Document. So, yeah.
All right, brother. Well, all the best of luck to you.
Yeah, and best of luck to you and your wife and the new baby.
Will do. All right, man. See you.
Yeah.
There we go. Did moving from Austin to Oakland factor into Ashley's layoff? Hard to say. when Ashley was going back into when she went back to visit HQ at Twitch, it was essentially empty. So a lot of people that were working locally still weren't coming in. So I don't think that was the big thing, to be honest with you. Who's this?
Brian from Oregon here.
What up, dog?
So here's my question on the AI front. Like, how long until we see AI crush a union? Like, we saw the Screen Actors Guild strike, and they seem to have won for now. But, like, what about, like, when doctors' jobs feel threatened? Are we going to see a strike in that department, or lawyers, or, I mean, any number of professions?
Who would they be striking against? Like, you need a company. You need a company that employs them that you would strike against. So doctors and lawyers are their own companies.
Okay. That's a very fair point. Let's just go back to the Screen Actors Guild, though.
Okay.
In 10 years, is this going to work again? You know, is in 4 years? In 20 years?
So I don't know about the health of all of the industries that we have right now. My belief is that AI will create more jobs, not less. And I think AI will make a lot of things a lot cheaper. They are going to reimagine a lot of things that we understand to be expensive, and they will make them less expensive.
I completely agree on that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the rocky path that we have to get to there.
I think it's going to be weird, but I think, you know, life is weird. You know, when you live in a world where technology changes very fast, then sometimes things, you know, shift. But that's been the story of Western society forever, right? Since
Not just
refrigeration
Western,
and
all
electricity.
Yeah. Right. And speaking of the article in Reason,
Yeah.
just want to let you know so you can pump it out more, because I think it's a really good article.
Mm-hmm.
The Reason podcast, The Best of Reason, where they read Reason articles in a robotic voice. That they just did that article.
So is that, somebody said it was robot Catherine Mangu Ward reading it. Is it an AI version of Catherine Mangu Ward?
According to all the advertising for the podcast, yes. And from listening to it, and based on the way that certain numbers are said, and like all the values and stuff are said in the British way, I would say that that's probably the case.
Yeah, they can call me, man. I can produce Andrew to read his own article. Reason, come on, baby. Come on. Holler at your boy. I got you. Yeah, if you want to listen to it, listen to it. I'm very, very proud of Andrew for writing it. I believe in it. I think it's a line in the sand article that to me is easy money. Like, rarely has game-changing technology produced less jobs. Now, they might threaten current jobs, but they very rarely make less jobs.
Agreed.
And so I don't think that this will be different. I think his arguments of scale being that if AI makes everything cheaper, then there physically will not be enough compute or robots to take away human jobs. Humans will always be needed. The question of exactly how is really where we are and how rocky the road is going to be. Now, what I think is fascinating is how much we're already seeing AI music be something that people are very interested in. You know, that's interesting to me. That speed kills ultimately. And if your favorite artist is coming out with a new song every day or every week, you find the exact cadence that you want a new song from your favorite artist. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty interesting. Now, how does that reshape the music industry? I think pretty significantly. Does it take away the concept of human music? No, because I think humans are going to use the tools like they always do.
Right. I mean, there's still 100 layers of music production besides writing and making the songs.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it's going to be a huge shift in the economy, obviously, but it will absolutely expand the economy, not just in the ways we can picture, but in 100 ways we can,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. Andrew's point in the article is that if you were to tell an average American in like the 1800s, where 74% of the population was farming, that in 200 years, 1% of the population would be farming, I think they would assume that we were living in a dystopic hellscape. That there had been some gigantic famine, and now everybody was doing something different. Instead, we live longer, we live better, we live happier than they did then. So
we have more food, we have more abundance.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's better. Yeah. All right. So another quick question.
Yeah.
Are you tempted to start doing fake pop culture words to see if you can get the fellow We're Not Wrongers to pick them up?
Oh, you think I should do fake Gen Z slang?
You should definitely see how many you can slip in before they catch on. For
Exactly.
Sure. That would be absolutely hilarious.
I should do the old Dave Chappelle zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity doo dah, Dave. Goodbye.
Right. You keep up on the the slang of the day because you're in the world of tech. That was what I heard yesterday when you're talking. If you can't keep up on the lingo of whatever the most current edge is, then that it's because you ride a bleeding edge of technology with this and with other shows you do.
Yeah, I also don't think that I'm actually on the bleeding edge of anything. I think that we have parodied an element of Gen Z for which has been commoditized for the olds. I don't think that Gen Z probably actually talks like that in the same kind of way, but
my son is a member of Gen Z. I assure you, he could have written that email if he cared about the show. Or
really? Okay, so indeed, No Cap Rizzler is in the lexicon.
He literally explained No Cap to me probably about a year ago, and explained Riz to my fiance last week.
That's great.
Yeah. And uses those words just like I would use cool or rad or awesome or bitchin' or whatever I picked up from my youth.
That's awesome. I'm excited. I love. I don't know. I feel like this has been the biggest. I don't know if it's a surprise, but I love being old, man. Being old rules. It rules on a level I was not prepared for. Anybody who fetishizes youth, get over it, baby. Fucking age at an obscene rate. Embrace being old. Embrace not knowing what the kids are saying. God, is there such freedom to not wanting to keep up with the Joneses? Oh my God, it is just the greatest gift you could possibly give.
Look, I'm 42. I can tell you there's nothing that gives me more joy than not understanding what my kids are saying and knowing that they have no idea what they're talking about anyway.
Hell yeah, right? It's like, I don't know what that means. I know you're an idiot though. But you're learning.
Exactly.
This is the point. Kids are supposed to be stupid. Kids are supposed to be stupid. Believe the children. No. Automatically doubt the children. Always automatically doubt the children. That's
100%.
Yes. Oh my God.
I got to head into the gym.
All right.
You're the best man in podcast. I don't know what to tell you.
There we go. You're the best man calling the show. Thank you so much, Doug. Have a good day. There we go. Clanging and banging. Calling into the show. Breaking a mental sweat. Dr. Whiskey, what's popping?
Hey, man. How are you today?
What's going on?
Another interesting thing with the youngsters these days is they seem, at least my kids and their friends, seem to be watching a lot of shows that are, older. Like my kids are into old Nickelodeon shows now.
Really?
Yeah. Like both of my kids are obsessed with Do you remember the show All That?
Of course. Yeah. No, that was
Yeah,
like that was
they-
my
they love
shit.
it. Yeah, they love it, and they're trying to get me to resubscribe to Paramount Plus so that they can watch Salute Your Shorts.
Oh shit. You want to know what I think might have happened? Is that there was sorry, my cousin. You guys are hearing the dings of my
Sorry.
of my cousin texting me. So yeah, there was a line in which the way things looked was a very clear definer of like age. You know, like there was like an 8-bit and a 16-bit and a 64-bit and right, like all that. And so if it looked old, you thought, oh, that's bad. But I would say for kids now, where like there is just everything has been recorded forever, then it's like the difference between a 50s thing and a 90s thing isn't all that much. And
Yes, I kind of equate it to also like I try to step back and look at it in terms of time frame things. You know, like when I was a kid, I was watching, Looney Tunes and
Yeah.
Scooby Doo and stuff, and that
Yeah.
stuff was, 20, 30 years old at the time. So it's the same thing. They're watching just these old shows that are in the same time frame for them as those shows were for me.
that's so funny that Salute. Well, you want to know what? Also, because me and my brother were obsessed with Nick at Night. We watched Nick
Oh,
at
yeah.
Night all the time. So it was, like
And an old,
F Troop and Petticoat Junction and like all
Yeah.
these old 60s and 70s shows.
a 90s show, I think it was Nickelodeon as well, that gets like just no love. And I don't know if you can find it streaming anywhere. I have it on Plex, but Pete, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. That was
Actually just a good show.
That
that-
was awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I still,
Is that
I-
not-
I
that's not
rewatched it,
streaming
like, a
anywhere?
year ago. I don't know. The last time I looked, it wasn't, and I had to go the high seas route and put it on Plex.
Damn.
But I rewatched it a couple years ago because I was like, man, that show, just living my
Artie?
nostalgic life.
The strongest
Oh,
man in the world.
The time traveling episode, during daylight saving time. it was just classic stuff.
Yeah, it was like Twin Peaks meets Wonder Years.
Oh, so good.
Like,
Exactly.
It was awesome. It was so good. Yeah, so I wonder how Salute Your Shorts gets on their radar.
I think I mentioned it to them, and then they went and looked it up on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this looks great," because they're all about going to summer camp. And then I mentioned, "Oh yeah, just like Salute Your Shorts," because I knew they were watching all that. And
Yeah.
they went and looked it up. They're like, "Oh God, we got to see this show." So I'll probably pay for.
How
Paramount
old?
Plus
How
just
old
for
are
that.
they?
They're 11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Dude, another of that era.
Yes.
Absolute
Amazing.
classic.
See, the stuff you got. with
Formative.
Le Petit-
Formative.
You got to look,
Because that's the thing.
Look forward to this with Le Petit Honk.
Yeah, so Salute Your Shorts, everybody's a little bit younger. Hey Dude, they were like, I think, 3 or 4 years older. They were more like the Saved by the Bell age. Like they were supposed to be, they're teenagers, but they were obviously in their like early 20s. You know that when you're an adult. But yeah, no, Hey Dude, well, what's her butt who wound up marrying Ben Stiller? Ooh, Smoke Show.
But then that led into some shows that, they're geared more towards when they get in their teenagers and stuff, like Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh man. That whole era of syndicated TV is just like there's some gems in there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still in Merrill Barr segment right now talking about, the entertainment industry, but but
Yeah, but you're actually talking about things that people like and watch.
that's true. All right, man. Well, that's all I had. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely, dude. See you later.
Bye.
Dr. Whiskey, always a pleasure. 510-404-8030, 510-404-8030. I thought Hey Dude was shit. Your shit hit the bricks. Here we go. Who's this?
Hey, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Who is this?
Big Jim.
Jim, your number just shows up. You got to help introduce yourself to the audience.
I thought you I thought you had me on your contacts.
I have no idea how that works. I don't use Skype other than turning it on for this so people can call the number on the screen.
Okay. All right. Now on, I will come in and be more.
Or just don't act offended when I ask your name.
Oh, okay. I can do that too.
Yes.
Hey, so, hey, I want to. Couple things. One, Big Dude was awesome, or Hey Dude was awesome.
Yes, Hey Dude was
Hey
awesome.
Dude was awesome.
Yes.
Hey Dude was a great show. I enjoyed that tremendously. We didn't even have cable, and I remember going to my grandmother's to watch Hey Dude. So that tells you how much I remember that show.
Yeah.
I think Paramount is actually pushing a bunch of their older Nick shows to get their streaming numbers up because it's already paid for them. So it's like free cash. And so I think a lot of kids are finding it that way. I know my kids are finding a lot of the old Nickelodeon shows that way too. They were watching Hey Arnold the other day, and I'm like, what? Where did you guys find this? We were on Paramount. We were just looking around. I'm like, okay, well, good show. Cool. Moving on.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it's an interesting move by Paramount. Hey, I got to tell you, bringing it back around to job hunting.
Yes.
I'll be careful how I say this. Certain people who happen to share my bed have also been looking for a new job lately.
Yes.
And that individual is a nurse in healthcare.
Yeah.
She has gotten rejected from many, 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 many jobs lately, which kind of surprises me because you would think nurses are high in demand right now.
Yeah.
And it turns out from what we're being told from a couple different people that in the healthcare industry, you're in demand in the hospital, but if you want to get out of the hospital, forget it.
Yeah.
Everybody's
few and far
going for
between
those jobs.
Yeah.
So even if it's paying less money, people are trying to get out of the hospital, and so they'll take less money. And I mean, that's the situation we're kind of in right now. And we're kind of seeing the same thing. So it's not just in the tech sector, man. I think it's everywhere right now. I think it's more visible in the tech sector, but I think everywhere is having problems right now. I really do. I know in my industry in logistics, unless you're a truck driver, it's not great, but it's not terrible. But I can say with the fact that, from healthcare perspective, it's rough, man. It's hard out here for a pimp. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, here's the news from the April jobs report.
Oh yeah, that's coming out today, isn't it?
It is out. Yeah. The economy added 175,000 new jobs. The employment rate rose though to 3.9% from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That is under what economists expected. They expected 250,000, and instead it came in under that. And
I wonder how many people though are coming back into the workforce from that though. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, there has been a lot of criticism of how the number has been tallied, specifically including
it changes with every administration how they count the number.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, here the only thing I know is this. Two vectors. Number one, my wife is out of a gig and has been trying to get a gig since before she lost her gig.
Right.
Number two, the Patreon during the 2020 cycle for PX3 exploded. Like, it essentially set us up to have the freedom that we have right now. It went from being a cool thing that I was doing that made extra money to a living. We have not seen that this year. And I suspect it's because there's just less discretionary income for people. So the Patreon index for me is, limited.
And I wonder how much of that is due to inflation though, as well, because
I would say
the
that
inflationary numbers have gone way up.
I think I don't think that I've gotten worse, nor do I think that our hardcore audience has, less of an interest in supporting the show. I do think that when you go to get snacks, it's $70 now, and so justifying what it costs to spend, for this show, even if people love it and they want it, it's a little bit of a harder sell.
Yeah. Yep. All right, man. Well, I wish you both nothing but the best.
Yeah.
I did send Ashley a gift to the P.O. Box.
Oh, good.
You guys should have gotten that. If not today, I think Monday.
Yeah. We'll check it over the
that'll
weekend.
help out a little bit.
Yeah.
And otherwise, have a great weekend, buddy.
All right, dude. You as well. Have a great time.
Take care.
See ya. 510-404-8030. Again, 510-404-8030. We'll take a couple more calls, and then we're going to wrap it on up. We're going to wrap it on up on a Friday. Got to get my hair cut at noon. Oh, boy. Got to get into the military-industrial complex while the getting's good. Yeah, baby. Who's this?
Hey, this is Object in Space, but we're talking like humans, so my name's Drew.
What's up, dude?
Not too much, man. It's usually I don't get a chance to like call in or participate very much because I'm supposed to be working.
Yeah.
So
Fuck that, though.
Awkward. Man, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, right? Get these people, get off of. Hey, boss man, stop breathing down my neck. I'm trying to call into a live stream, huh? Well, what is on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, that's not good for you, obviously. Yeah, I guess the me. So there's two things. One is I sort of want to plus one what the guy said earlier who called in who is struggling to get a job. It's tough out there. Like they've been laying people off left, right, and center everywhere all last year, and they're still sort of doing it some places this year. And even when we're not doing that anymore, but we're still not like we're sort of hiring, but it's like backfill. Like it's not. Yeah. There's just not a lot out there. I really don't know what to do. It sucks. But the other thing is to respond to the question. I'm sorry, I'm in an echoey room. Let me move there.
No problem.
It's a bit. I just wanted to to answer the question of the stream. I want to thank you for not talking about the protest because I found it particularly vexing. And maybe this is because I'm getting old, but I don't know. In universities right now, I don't have a lot of connection to it, so I just see a bunch of people on TV, and I'm just like, okay, it's just right. So all of the media in Los Angeles. Oh, look, Los Angeles and New York got on the news again. What a surprise! I'm not interested. So to the extent that it's become more of a nationwide kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's Summer of the Shark to me. It is something that is catnip for television news, and therefore is red meat for the discourse. But
it's just they want to talk about it. It lets them talk about it. So it gives them like an analog to talk about, just argue about the same stuff.
No, it actually doesn't talk about look, if we were actually talking about what is happening in Israel and Gaza and that's fine. That's a massive story. There are people that are dying in Gaza. There were scores of people dead on October 7th. There's a lot of very weighty, legitimate foreign policy implications that come along with all of that. What a 19-year-old's opinion of it at one of the elite schools is less interesting to me. To other people, they might desperately want, add that to the list of things that people want to hear about college students. But it is not even representative of young people, in my opinion. Statistically, I think we said before. Credit to Gabe Fleischer of Wake Up to Politics.
A lot of them.
Yeah, it's most young people don't go to college. Most young people, if they go to college, don't go to an elite school, and most people going to the elite schools aren't protesting.
Right.
So it is small, a small group of people.
I know that some of them things like about the administration or they want to divest or something, and that's fine. Like but that's between you and the college. I still don't care about it.
Yeah. There we go. We talked about how I wasn't talking about it. Hooray.
Yeah, great. I would like them to instead talk about, like you said, what is actually going on in Israel and Palestine and Gaza. It seems like Palestine, I don't know. It feels like it's like a sort of convenient way to not talk about that because it's really difficult and really hard and it's uncomfortable, and they would rather talk about this. And I'm more interested in what's actually, and the hostages. We have we have Americans. I don't understand. Like I do understand because it's in the cynical brain tells me why. But like there was. This is me. I always old man about the news when I do this. I was like, there was a time when they used to be on the ground and they had people, and now it's now I'm just like, it used to be when we cared about Americans and conflict. Now we don't need to do that. It's all just shrinking, and it's disturbing to me.
Yeah. Well, we do what we can on this program, sir.
We're not wrong. It's fantastic. Politics. Also very good.
Thank you.
I haven't quite made it on Patreon yet, but yeah, I enjoy.
Take your
both.
time.
And I come from the congressional dish. She's obviously very good. Like all of you do fantastic, great work, and I like the tone. It's sort of funny, but also serious.
Yeah.
You're willing to get into the weeds on stuff, and then also acknowledge when you're getting in the weeds on stuff, and this stuff actually doesn't matter. Like
we do our best.
Yeah, you do. You I really appreciate it, guys.
All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for calling.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. I think it's very telling that when I say that I don't believe that, or I believe that the college protests are being overcovered, that people take it personally. Oh. Like I am downplaying their opinions. I'm not downplaying their opinions. I'm saying there's a lot of people with opinions. I think that they're being overcovered. There's not a lot of them. That's all. Who's this?
Hey, this is Matt in Austin.
What's up, Matt?
Hi. Also a fellow tech worker looking for a job, which is
damn. We got this is a theme now. This is a theme.
What I wanted to mention was you said on one of your podcasts this week, I don't know if it was politics or We're Not Wrong, but about hate for college education, and you dared anyone to be as vehement as you against universities, and I would submit Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, Malcolm. I think it must have been you that I saw that commented that. Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell has been on this train for a while. If I fashion myself as any kind of a contrarian, then I definitely do need to tip my cap to the frazzled mop of one Malcolm Gladwell. He is the goat contrarian, and specifically he has railed on higher education for a while.
Yeah, he did a season or some episodes a few seasons back on Revisionist History about the college rankings, and I think Columbia was at the center of that, and how the college rankings are rigged, and about how Emory or some HBCUs weren't able to even get in the college rankings at all. So it's a good listen if you want to. And then he was recently on someone else's podcast talking about the hedge funds that they have, and Harvard has like $100 billion endowment or something.
Oh yeah.
And they only admit 10,000 students, whereas some of the other universities are serving like 100,000 students. And what could Harvard do if they actually use their money, to give people educations rather than just make more money?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I have the energy to do my full monologue on it, but anybody can go to the reruns and hear me yell and scream about how I think college is a scam. I think that right now this is a predatory bond between banks and our federal government that is guaranteed loans that I think are predatory. They're predatory and they are not worth it. By the numbers, they are not worth it. That is why I am on the side of any protester on these college campuses. You should be allowed to camp as angrily as you want and say whatever you want because you're paying for it. At those prices, sit on the quad for as long. You should be taking over the chancellor's office every week. You should be allowed to go in there and take a shit on the desk for the prices you guys are paying.
Well, if you ever get a chance to sit down with Malcolm Gladwell, I'm sure you guys could have a great conversation about it.
One day. Maybe I'll go to him for my daughter's college recommendation letter.
All right. Well, congratulations on the family, and talk to you later.
All right, brother. Cheers.
Bye.
Ivy League schools suck. I don't know. Look, man, whatever. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, what not to do. I'm saying that I think that it's unfair. It's unfair for kids, and it's unfair for kids to be saddled with that kind of debt burden coming right out of school. It just sucks. And when the product isn't worth it, then why are we guaranteeing these loans? Why is the government guaranteeing these loans? And at some point, when do we think that we are part of the problem when all we've done is allow collusion between the schools and the banks to continue to raise the price because they know they're going to get paid out anyway? Who's left holding the bag? Those elite state schools. They're elite state schools. You know, if it's a prestigious name, especially in a certain field, yeah. To me, an elite school is a school for which, if it is on your resume, you get a bonus because it's got a good reputation, especially in certain fields. I don't think anybody would describe Syracuse as an elite university, but it is an elite university for journalism. I've gotten looked at more than once because of the reputation of who came before me at Syracuse. When I say not an elite school, I mean, you know, smaller colleges, community colleges, stuff like that. I mean, that's where the majority of kids go. The acceptance rate at elite institutions are vanishingly small. The ones that, you know, will pretty much take anybody are those smaller schools. No need to get all riled up. Get all lathered, hot and bothered. Whew, too early in the morning for that. Ohio University is elite for journalism. I went to a UT school and it was far from elite. Okay, well, I mean, UT is a big system. You know, UT Austin, which is right down the road from me, I would count as an elite school. I've known people that have graduated from there that have done very well with that network. It's a very powerful network. I mean, the UT, it's like, you know, there's a shit ton of state schools. It's like SUNY. SUNY's got a billion different schools. UT's got a lot of them. Michigan Ann Arbor is an elite state-owned school. Yeah, huge, gigantic school. Huge alumni network. None are called SUNY anymore. Oh, well. Okay, guys, we're wrapping it up. We have stretched the old voice to its breaking point. We are shutting her down. Thank you very, very much. A cheers to everybody. Go listen to PX3. Go listen to Wear That Wrong. let's see, where are we at on tickets for the live show in DC? We've got 8 tickets left for DC. If you are in the DC area, May 24th, Anacostia Arts Center, we will be live with We're Not Wrong. Myself, Jen Briney, Andrew Heaton, and possibly Heaton's dog will be at the Anacostia Arts Center May 24th. Tickets are available right now. Only 8 of them left. Oh boy. So there we go. Get Trump on the show. I don't think, can I do the Trump impression? Coming down. We're doing it, and we're doing it very big. We are going to the We're Not Wrong show. All right. That's it. Bye.
See ya.